Over the past couple of years, we've seen some major shakeups happening in the gaming industry, cost cutting, the firing of thousands of developers, the shuttering down of studios. And here we go once again with Electronic Arts, one of the biggest publishers in gaming, basically shutting down an entire studio and canceling their next big game, a Marvel Black Panther video game that was in development for quite some time. How crazy is that? This was supposed to be an ambitious Black Panther game, and it was actually being developed it was supposed to be this open world action game, and it was being developed by Cliffhanger Games, a relatively new studio staffed with industry veterans, including even alumni developers from Shadow of Mordor, from the same studio of Monolith Productions, which Warner Bros. Shut down after they canceled Wonder Woman. I'll never forgive them for that, unfortunately. Cliffhanger Studios itself was also closed as part of the broader cost-cutting and restructuring efforts. It's always the restructuring PR lingo these corporations love to use. Understandably, this sparked a lot of speculation that EA might be walking away from its partnership with Marvel altogether, because a few years ago, they said that they were going to come out with 3 major Marvel games, but both Electronic Arts and Marvel insist that that's not the case. And in separate statements, they stress that their multi-title long-term collaboration is still very much alive. And the deal, originally announced in 2023, including the only one that we knew at the time, was Iron Man, Black Panther, which got canceled, and an unnamed third game. Seems like the only one we know so far is Iron Man being still developed. While Black Panther has been axed, Marvel confirms that the 3-game commitment still stands. So there is another game that's going to be replacing Black Panther, and Motive Studios will now take lead moving forward. This is happening even as the EA CEO Andrew Wilson stated that the company wants to scale back on licensed IP projects, especially those that it doesn't see as major commercial bets. Apparently, Marvel games are still considered worth the investment, but they are looking to invest more on their in-house IPs. I presume like Apex Legends and a few more out there. I can't really think at the top of my head. But why did they cancel Black Panther? Why? I mean, especially because this was supposed to be some big superhero action game. And I think it has to do with the fact from last year's incident with Warner Bros. when they had a disastrous launch and a negative reception from gamers towards their Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. It was supposed to be this fun, cooperative, live service superhero action game, but people hated how much of it was in terms of how predatory it was in monetization, how shallow the experience felt, how grindy it was, and just overall not fun. And after Warner Bros. Closing support for after a year with that game, they followed it by basically canceling Wonder Woman. And I think EA saw this and they realized, okay, I get the feeling we might be following the same bad patterns that Warner Bros. Did when they made those games. And I think if we come out with Black Panther with elements that those games had and those games failed, we're gonna basically put out a very expensive title that's gonna be dead on arrival. And of course, it's gonna come with the extra backlash. So they're kind of cutting their losses. They're like, they can already anticipate the train wreck coming. So they're like, you know what? Cancel the game and shut the whole studio down. We're gonna focus more on our in-house IPs coming out of Respawn Studios, BioWare, Battlefield by DICE, and it's at the moment EA appears to be narrowing its focus a lot on those IPs instead of having to do things like the Marvel IPs or even Star Wars. People are asking, there's just last week, there was so much discussion and buzz because someone somehow spread the rumor that Battlefront 3 was going to be coming out, like it was in development. And next thing you know, people started flocking Battlefront 2, and it hit its highest concurrent player count on Steam. And people were like, okay, people were really buying into the gossip that yes, EA was going to make one. But the reality is that besides the Jedi series that they're working on, Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order, I think after that, they're no longer going to be working on Star Wars titles, especially the one that everyone's desiring the most, Battlefront 3. And I wouldn't be surprised if EA keeps on going with their cost-cutting sprees. And, you know, they have been known. They've had a track record of almost 20, 30 years now of taking beloved studios, talented developing teams, and basically turning them into an empty, shallow shell of its former self, and then realizing why they're pumping out products that people don't like anymore. I thought people loved these studios, and then they shut them down. There's a lot of animosity from gamers who look back at EA's past track record, and just there's this feeling of you can never really forgive them for that. We're gonna take a short break, and we'll be right back with more news right here on the Evening Buzz.